I think today's episode will be very interesting because primarily you've come from a background which I think is pretty interesting, international student coming to another country to study, and now you're currently working. I've seen you go through, your studies because we studied together, and how you've developed is really how can I say, inspiring and motivational,
Thank
so
you. Thank
today we'll talk about that, we'll talk about other stuff as well. So if you could just give us a brief introduction about who you are, what you currently do, where
you.
you studied, and all that.
Yeah. So my name is Ray. I come from Albania, from Tirana, and I've been in Brussels living now for almost 6 years. I came here in September 2017 to study. I did my bachelor and master's at KU Leuven, and we were also classmates with Samuel. That's how we know each other. I did bachelor for business administration and masters for business information management. And since August of last year, I've been working as in quality management for a consultancy company here in Belgium. So that's like my story very shortly. But I've only lived in Brussels like this 6 years.
6 years in Brussels, we'll definitely dive into that. But let's talk about life in Albania. How's life in Albania? How are the opportunities as a student? Why did you come to Belgium?
Yeah. So always wanted to study abroad ever since I was young, actually. And when the time came to decide on a university to study, I went through all the like best ranked universities, and I found KU Leuven. What struck me up with KOL is that it was quite cheap for non-European, and also the program was in English, and it was something which I was interested in, which was business, because I did not know exactly what I wanted to do, and business is quite broad and general, and you can kind of find yourself there in something. I came because of the university, not because of the country. To be honest with you, I did not even know Belgium spoke Dutch when I first came here. I thought everyone spoke French. Like I knew very little about Belgium.
I think it's a shocker for a lot of people that when you come here, you see that there's two groups of people, one speaking Dutch and one speaking French. But I think now you're pretty accustomed and understanding of why
Yeah.
this is all happening. But yeah, you didn't know you wanted to come to Belgium. You wanted to come
No,
just because the course was, pretty broad. It's
yeah.
true, the BBA program is pretty broad, and from there you wanted to do something else. But what about how was your search for universities? Was it only price wise, or what other factors did you take into account?
Yeah, so I remember I was searching with my mom actually, and we went through all the like top 100, 200 universities and crossing them one by one because there was always a factor which disqualified it. Sometimes it was the language, sometimes it was the price, and mostly the price. And when we went to KOL, I remember it was like 50 or 80, I don't remember. We were looking at it and we saw the price and we were like, no, it's only for non for Europeans. And we're like, no, this is for non-Europeans. Back then it was 1,750, which is insanely cheap. And then we're like, okay, but it probably is in French because in Germany they're also cheap, but in German. We did not
Yeah.
even know they spoke Dutch here. So like, yeah, it's in French. And then we search it's in English. Like we couldn't believe we were looking for a catch, but we never found the catch. And then immediately after that, I applied and I got accepted, and that's how I ended up here. But the reason why I wanted to like study abroad, it's because like in Albania, when you are, let's say, if you do a high school or elementary school, middle school, it's quite fine. But when it comes to university and especially working, the opportunities are not as good as here, and especially the pay is not that good. So it's about like going for a better life, I guess. That's the main reason, I would say.
Yeah, yeah, that's for sure. I mean, yeah, it's nice that you were saying that you were looking for the catch as to why it's so cheap.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of people did come to Belgium just because of the how inexpensive it is. But you say there's no opportunity in Albania, but now that you graduated, even with a foreign degree, do you think there are enough opportunities or?
The thing in Albania is that there are opportunities. It's not like there are plenty of jobs per se, but if you have the chance to go somewhere better, you will take it, basically. So in my case, I'm pretty sure if I went there, I would be able to find a job. But in general, I think here life is better, especially as a first job. So, and also I feel because I did my studies here, I'm quite used to the life here and everything. So for me, it is quite an obvious choice to stay here for working. I'm not saying that like life there it's okay. There are some good things. I have my family there. I have like my friends from high school and everything, which the ones which are still there. But when it comes to actually making a living, I think here it's better, at least for now. Maybe after 20 years, the things will change, but at the moment, it's
Yeah, yeah. And when it came to the language, the program is in English in Belgium. Do everybody in Albania know English or are taught English in school, or was it something you did differently?
so because our language is quite small and not very not very like popular language like French or Spanish where a lot of people speak it, we put a lot of emphasis in learning it in school, and also almost everything is in English with Albanian subtitles. Kids shows and documentaries are in Albanian, but movies, internet, all of those TV shows are in English. And also, when I was younger, I used to be a gamer, so I also played video games, watch like I don't know shows and stuff, and that really helps people improve, like learn English. And also in school, especially now, but even when I was a student, there is a lot of English emphasis, and by the time you graduate from high school, you're supposed to know like B2 English, which is quite advanced, I think.
All right. I mean, I think it's but so every school teaches English, you mean?
Yes, yes,
Or
yes, yes. Every high school, every even you start now you start from first grade. When I was in elementary school, you started from third grade, and in high school we had English 4 times a week, as often as Albanian literature class. They really put an emphasis in it
Mhm. I
because you need
mean,
it.
yeah, yeah, it's needed, and I think it's quite similar in Bangladesh as well.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a slight difference, and I don't know if it's the same in Albania, but we have two types of school. One is English medium school, which is usually private, and the other one is government or public school. So I went to the private school, which is pretty normal. It's not like in US or Belgium where you say like, yeah, I
Rich
went to
kids.
private school, rich kids. No, it's pretty normal. But they do teach English in government schools, but it's not. You can directly understand when you speak with someone from a government school and a private
Mm-hmm.
school, but you don't have that in Albania. It's really English everywhere.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, I would say so. I mean, in some private schools, you'll learn it better, but in
Hmm.
general, even in public schools, at least in the capital where I live, most
Yeah.
people can speak to some level. And there's a huge phenomenon in Albania where a lot of people want to either study abroad or even just work abroad. And if you want to work abroad, you really need to know English, even if you go to a non-English country.
Yeah.
So.
And like, do everybody want to like because me personally, the Albanians that I know in Namur, I
Mm-hmm.
know that Albania
Oh, you
is
know? You
yeah,
know them?
there are a lot of Albanians, but I
Mhm,
think they are from minority groups in Albania, and they don't really
mhm,
know English. They only know like French
mhm.
or Albanian. But Albania is a really it's pretty unique because there are a lot of groups, a lot of Muslim groups, and but the majority are living in the cities are Christians, I think. But I think
Mm,
the Albanians I know are mostly Muslim, but they don't really speak English. And I have asked them why, and they say, "Yeah, in the village area. We go to school, but they don't really teach English over there.
Well, I cannot speak about villages because I come from the capital, and Tirana. Tirana is the capital, by the way. It's huge. It's almost a third of the population at this point. So I don't know how it is in villages, to be honest. I'm pretty sure it's not as good, the English education.
Yeah.
But one thing though is that in Albania, it's not like we're Christian in the cities. I think like 70% on paper, but most of the Albanians, especially the ones which actually live in the country, are not
Wait, you were
religious
cutting
because
off
we
a
were
bit.
communists.
Ray, you were cutting off a
Sorry.
bit. If you could backtrack a bit. You were saying in Albania, the percentages?
Oh yeah, it's around Muslim. It's something like 70%
Mm-hmm.
in paper, but most of the people there are not religious. It's kind of like saying Belgians are Christian, but they so you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
It's not very influential, and that's because we used to be communist
Yeah.
for 50 years, and in communism religion was abolished, it was illegal. And a fun fact, we were the first country in the world to be declared an officially atheist country. I think it was around the 80s.
Officially
So
or unofficially?
officially, I think the government did that. They declared it an atheist country,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of crazy. I recently found that out. So it's not really a big part of people's lives. We drink alcohol. One of our main fast foods. It's it has pork in it. It's mostly like people that are from Kosovo, which are more Muslim, and like people from Macedonia, like the Albanians from those places.
Yeah.
But Albanians from Albania, especially from Tirana, most of them are not religious. There is, of course, a group which is religious, but I would say like 90%, especially people my age. I don't know anyone that's like
Mm-hmm.
actually properly religious. So yeah.
Do you like that or do you not like that? I mean, what's your opinion on it?
I'm neutral. I have friends here which are very religious. I have friends here which are like very religious from different religions. So I have Christian friends, Muslim friends, which actually practice it. I have atheist friends. I have spiritual friends. I have everything. So I'm quite neutral. I don't real for me. It's not important, to be honest. Like I
Is
don't.
it?
It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, but and it's good to know uh people from a variety of religions and views because you can have uh conversations with them where you get to understand from their views and you try to tell your views, but it's not with the goal of trying to convert or impose your own thoughts and beliefs on them. I also have friends in from various religions and also atheists, agnostics. But me, my first first contact with Albanians was in Namur, where I live,
Mhm,
not in Brussels. And yeah, I thought most of the Albanians I met were Muslims, so
mhm.
naturally I thought Albania was Muslim. But then after
They
meeting more people, yeah, after meeting more people I realized, yeah, it's more of a mix. But yeah, now going back to studies. So yeah, you studied in Albania, completed your high school and everything, looked for a university, got into KU Leuven. How was your feelings and emotion? It's like you're still young, uh
yeah.
coming to another country. Me personally, I wouldn't say that I ever had this feeling because I also studied in Bangladesh. I studied eight
Mhm,
years, although I was born here and then I left Belgium, studied there. But then, I came here and everything was new, but I wasn't away from my parents.
mhm.
Everybody, my mom, my dad, they were all here. And when I was in Bangladesh, yeah, my dad was in Belgium, but my mom was with me. So, how was the feeling of you coming alone, new country? How's the emotions and feelings?
Yeah, I was 19 when I first came here. I came, I remember the first week I was with my mom. She gave me some emotional support because I'd never been in Belgium before. I'd barely traveled abroad in general at that point, only like 3 or 4 times. And it was the first night we came to Gare du Midi at like 11 p.m., which thinking back was a bad idea.
Yeah,
And
quite a bad idea.
and we took a taxi. First thing we left, and the whole area was fucked up. And I was thinking, like, how will I live there? This is so scary. What am I doing here? And I was like really like panicking inside. We went to the hotel where we were staying for a week, which was actually in Luis, which is a good area. But the route you go through like Gare du Midi area, and it's really messed up. And I was so scared that first night I couldn't even like fall asleep. I was like so like it's a big shock, a big change of life. You know, you lived
Yeah.
all your life in your town, in your neighborhood with your parents, and you went like everything is close to you, like 10-minute walk. High school, middle school were always close to me, and now you're in a completely different world. So the beginning was quite hard, to be honest. The first like month was quite hard, especially because like the first 2 weeks I did not even go to uni, and I was just like getting things done, registering, all of those like technical bullshit. So it was difficult, and even like the first 2 months, I kind of struggled a bit to like fit in camp in class. Like I met a lot of people, but it was a bit difficult to make like friends. It was more like people you hang out with and stuff. So in the first like 3 months, I felt quite alone, but after that, as time went on, you meet more people, you find people which you get closer with, and it gets a lot better. And you get also used to living alone, being more independent, and all of those things. I think you
You
also live,
adapt basically, you adapted. Yeah.
I think you also lived 1 year alone here in Brussels, so you can kind
Uh
of
y-
understand.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I lived in Brussels alone for 6 months, but I mean, me, I could go back, come back in Namur anytime. So definitely not the same. Uh, yeah, you adapted, and I think a lot of people cannot adapt. They get homesick and they
Yeah.
just leave. I mean, I know a cousin who actually did that. He went to the States and just was
Mm.
so homesick that he was like, no, fuck that, I'm going back home. Like, uh and did you get like a weather shock? Like, I think in Albania it's much better than here,
The
but
weather here was terrible. I have this story actually. I remember because when I first came, it was sunny. It was like good weather, and then it was on and off shitty weather. And then December came, and when I took the plane to go to Tirana for the first time in December, as the plane raised from the clouds and it got up to the point where you have the sun. I felt sun for the first time after like 3 weeks. Like literally 3 weeks in December, there was not a single day with sun that year. Like it was crazy. I had forgotten what it felt like to feel the sun. So the first like winter in Brussels was quite difficult, and that doesn't help with the exam season. So it's
mhm.
like a triple bullshit. But in time you get used to it. Now it doesn't affect me that much anymore. But the first year, yeah, it was difficult because it's not that it's cold here. It's not that cold in my opinion. Like in Tirana in winter, it's a bit colder than here actually. But in
Yeah.
Tirana you have sun all the time. Here you don't have sun like at winter at all. That's to me
Mhm.
was the most annoying thing. And when you don't have sun, it affects your mood. It affects your like you get like low key depressed. Back then I
Yeah.
didn't even take vitamin D, so you can imagine what how it was.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, you get used to it. One thing though, which I'd like to add is that yeah, you get homesick in Belgium, but I think Brussels and especially our campus. So Belgium, like Brussels as a city, it's extremely international, and in my opinion, you don't feel like discriminated. You feel quite at home because it's so
Multi-diverse,
very
diverse. Yeah, yeah.
diverse. And also KUL, our campus, it's also super diverse. So that really helped with the homesickness feeling, in my opinion. Because if I went somewhere and it was only Belgians with their families here and everyone went home on the weekend and everyone stick to their own, then it would be way worse. I have friends which study in Germany where it is like that, and for them it's way more difficult. In this case, like in our campus and the whole city in general, you have a lot of people like yourself, so it's like easier to find people which have your struggles. You help each other, you talk with each other, and it really helps.
Yeah, yeah, you find people from your own country. Unfortunately, I didn't really find that many Bengalis. There was only one girl I can remember, but that was that.
Oh yeah,
But yeah,
I
extremely
know.
multi-diverse. That's one thing I
Mhm.
like about Brussels. But you know what? It's like a lot of people have different experiences, and I did talk to a couple of people. They did not have quite the same experience. They felt like discriminated, and when they did group projects they were
Mhm.
discriminated. I don't know how that works, but yeah, definitely don't wish this like for anybody who is international, you know. But you come to Belgium, and what were some of the few things, or what are the things an international student has to do? I mean, I think it's
Mm.
pretty you have to run to the commune and do quite a lot of stuff, I think. And
Yeah.
even when it came to housing, how did you actually look for it? Because you said you stayed in a hotel, but hotel for too long is quite expensive.
No. Yeah, yeah. So the hotel was just for the first week because my mother was also here and she helped me with everything. This, so I found my student residence where I actually stayed for 5 years near Port de Namur. I found it online and it's like a from Vilgimo. It's like a serious company, and we did like the contract and the booking everything beforehand. So when I came to Brussels, literally the second day, I got the keys to the room. So it was like a student residence, but unfortunately our campus sucks, so we don't have any students residences from KUL. It was like a private thing, but it wasn't expensive back then. I think it was like 400 something a month. And so I stayed there for 5 years actually. That's the housing. Not like tips I would give for international students. First of all, you should know where you are going because Brussels, it's a nice city, but there are some areas which where I would avoid at specific times. So you need to know that, and you also need to have a bit of street smarts. Like if you're walking home, like by yourself at 1 a.m. and you see some fishy people walking in front of you, it's maybe you can change the street. It's like that kind of thing, because otherwise you might get like I don't know in a situation, and then people post these rants complaining about Brussels. But I noticed if you have a bit of like street common sense, you can avoid it. That's one thing I would
Did you
say.
did you ever find yourself in a situation
No,
like that?
no.
No.
There was only once when I was coming home at like 4:30 a.m. and there was this kind of fishy looking guy in the middle of the streets, in middle of the street, looking at me from 100 meters away, and I was like, "Fuck this!" And then I went like another route. So that's the closest thing I had. So I didn't have issues, but I'm always careful, especially late at night in like fishy areas. So that helps a lot. I'm not saying it's like Chicago or Detroit or anything like that, but it helps to have a bit of street smart. So
Yeah,
that's
in
one thing.
Brussels there are some places, yeah, and to avoid them at night is definitely smart. I mean, in any country, I
I
would
can give
say.
you names if you want. It doesn't matter because I know the city very well. Um,
I mean, yeah, Molenbeek, Gare du Nord.
Molenbeek, yeah, but to be honest, no one goes to Molenbeek for like business. So like areas I would actually avoid is Gare du Nord because I know there's like some student residences there where people might chill, and you have the main train station and a bus station with Flixbus. So Gare du Nord, you have to be careful. Gare du Midi area, you have to be careful. Renaissance, I don't think it's that bad, but you still have to be a bit careful. And yeah, as you said, Molenbeek. I heard Anderlecht, but I've never been there. But I would say like Gare du Midi and Gare du Nord, you have to be careful with this too because the bus stations and train stations are there. You might have to encounter them more. Molenbeek, you won't really go there unless you live there.
And if you do
Uh,
have to go there, it's usually in the morning or before, like, you know, in summer,
yeah,
I guess before
yeah,
8 or 9, but
yeah.
in
Just
winter before
if you're a
6.
bit careful, it's honestly fine. I think they're a bit overrated. Like it's not as dangerous as people say, but I don't know.
Yeah, but
Um,
you never know. I mean, people have different experience. I know this
True,
girl who had like bad experience in Gare Centrale in the middle of the day, you
mhm.
know, so you never
True,
know, but
true,
it's
true,
better to be smart and avoid places that aren't good.
true. And also street smart, that helps a lot. So that's one thing. Other than that, you mean for an international student in general, nowhere to shop, that helps a lot, especially if you're not from a rich country. I can tell you this, if you ever go to Carrefour Express, those places are really expensive and it's not worth it. So I would recommend you go to the big Carrefour or Lidl or Colruyt. So the small Carrefours like Carrefour Express, you should definitely avoid those. Night shops are good for if you need to buy a drink late at night, but don't shop there because they're super expensive.
Overpriced.
So yeah, overpriced as hell. So knowing where to shop is important. Security is important. Student residences. I would avoid, and I might get some shit for this, but I would avoid the brick residences because most of them are shit. I've been to like 10 of them because I had friends in most of them, except like one or two, which are good. The rest are bad. So
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
get brick residences, I would avoid them,
It
honestly.
will be cheap, but you might have
Not much
some
cheaper. It's not
problems.
much
Yeah,
cheaper though. I asked for prices. It's not much cheaper. It's just that KOL recommends them, and that's where you go because you don't know better. But honestly, I don't think it's. Most of them are really bad. I've been inside them.
yeah,
Even Van Orly, you know Van Orly, the famous one.
yeah,
Outside
yeah.
the party culture, the actual resident is not that good.
Well,
Um,
I've been in a break residence, and yeah, the one
you've
year that I
been.
was in Brussels, yeah, and
Which one?
the reason why I left is because it was so shit.
Which one though?
It was
Tell me.
near Porte de Namur.
Port
I
de
think it was,
Namur,
yeah, yeah,
a Greek residence.
yeah. It's
Never
a brick
heard.
residence,
Damn.
but
Because
it's a
actually,
pretty small one. It's just 3 floors and three
mm-hmm.
units per floor. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it was pretty shit. Really bad experience. And to this date, they still send me emails about paying up for something that they said I don't need to pay. So what the hell, guys? But
Yeah.
anyways,
On
yeah, brick residents, avoid it. But if you can't, I mean, I guess as I said, you can adapt. But for international students who really are in a tight place, and I think, yeah, I mean, if they don't find anything better than brick,
Yeah,
go
yeah.
for it.
If you have no other place, but you're not saving money going to Brick, I think the prices are the same. And
Hmm.
since you asked about going to the commune, yeah, that's the thing with the commune is that you need to renew your student visa once a year, and it's quite a pain in the ass. I got lucky because the Excel commune is quite nice. They all speak English, and usually it's really well organized. But I heard horror stories from other like communes and other people. They would get their like the student ID visa expires in the end of October. They would get it in like March, like messed up stories. I never had that, thank God. So in that way, I got lucky.
So you should focus in communes that speak English.
It's not even about the English. You can deal with French, Google Translate. It's about how long they take to do things. I know 1000, Brussels 1000
Hmm.
used to be, I don't know if it still is, but it used to be the worst. All the horror stories I heard are from there. The other ones I think are better, but I don't know that much. I only know my commune well, and I know 1000 is bad, and that's it.
So yeah, I think these are pretty good pointers for someone to come here and be ready to face the bad weather, and if they're studying, to face the difficulties of studying. How
Yeah.
was your experience at KUL? I mean, I know a bit, but how long did you take to do your bachelor? 4 years?
It took me 4 years. I had 36 credits after my third year, but to be honest with you, I don't think I would have been able to finish in 3 years. But after the third year, oh no, after like the second year, I kind of decided to do 4 years. So in my third year, I lowered a bit my effort. So I think I would have had less than 36 credits, but I don't think I would have been able to graduate in 3 years. Maybe I would have had like 20 credits. I don't know.
Hmm.
Like Paywell, it's quite hard to be honest, especially to pass because where I come from in Albania, the way it works in universities is that it is quite easy to pass, but it's difficult to get like a good grade. So passing, if you study, it's almost guaranteed, unless you study like I don't know engineering or something. In general, it's guaranteed. If you study, you pass. It's like simple. Here, that's not the case, especially with some of the more difficult courses like maths or stats or I don't know corporate finance, etc. You can actually study quite well and fail and of course you might not get a 2 but you'll still fail like close to passing. You might get like an 8 or something, and it is quite frustrating. I remember in my first semester I studied well-ish but not as well as I could have looking back because I underestimated it a bit, and I had a few retakes and I was really upset. I was questioning if I would be able to finish the program or not. But after like the August of first year, which went quite well, after first year, I think I had 51 credits obtained. I only had math A and math B and stats one left from first year going to second year, and then it got better. But after like the first semester, I had a few dropout dots, to be honest. It is, I was a very good student in high school, but it really shocked me the idea that you study a course very well and you can still fail.
Definitely, that was the same experience I had, especially with courses that required maths and
Yeah.
finance courses.
Mhm.
But what
Yeah.
for students wanting to come to Belgium and study the BBA program at KUL, which courses do you think were the hardest and the courses they should focus the most on, or what should their
Mhm.
base really be? Because honestly, I saw some students who were really good at maths, for example, or in
Mhm.
economics. I used to love economics, but I think KUL really changed my mind on that. I don't. I still like it, but not the KUL economics. That's for sure. So, what are
Yeah.
the courses they should really, or what are a good base they should build for students that want
Um,
to come here to study BBA?
yeah. So the courses which I think need the most effort and work, it's first of all, it's some mathematics. You have math A, math B, and then EMOR, which is like the math of second year. So those 9 credits of math are definitely important and difficult. Statistics, you have stats one and stats two. Those are also important and difficult. Other than that, it's a bit more subjective. There is, for example, in first year, there is this course called FIM, which is I think relatively difficult, especially the algebra part. That is actually the hardest thing in the whole program.
Hmm.
Uh, then there is like this course in second year called. Apparently, it became difficult now. In my time, it was not difficult, called FSA. But I know very good students who struggled with that. Also, they say corporate accounting is difficult, but I don't know if it changed. Corporate
Also,
finance in third year is also considered difficult.
yeah, but I was just going to say that I also think people should take into account that this program is relatively new. I think there's only been 2 or 3 batches of graduates, so every year they're kind of changing up uh, the
I
course a
wouldn't
bit.
say new. It's from 2015, so it's like 8 years now. I wouldn't say it's new. But they do still change stuff because
Yeah.
I know people from like younger years and they do change stuff.
Hmm.
Well, one thing we changed now, which is a bit unfortunate for newcomers, is that in our time you had 6 tries for a course. Now it's 4, actually, if you don't know.
I did not know that, and
They
I
made
think
it
that
4. They
I'm
made
pretty sure they didn't reduce the difficulty, did they?
I don't think they're the only thing which they changed, which I don't think justifies it, but it's like a small help. Is now you can tolerate with a 7, but still, it's 4 tries. Like, yeah. So,
Yeah,
so that's one thing you should keep into account.
I
Don't
think
leave.
that's quite a big change. I mean,
Yeah, it is.
tolerate with a 7. I think the norm everywhere is an 8, right?
Yeah, that is nice. But in our time, what we could do is that, for example, we are overwhelmed in first year and we leave stats for second year and we go get 2 zeros. If you remember, we cannot do
Yeah,
that. You cannot do that anymore because then you blow like 2 out of your 4 chances. So you need to take every course seriously from the first year. That's the thing. Because, for example, with stats one, I got 2 zeros in the first year, and then in second year I actually started studying it. I You cannot do that anymore, so you need to take courses seriously from day one.
day
If they
one.
are easier or not, honestly, I don't know that in terms of difficulty because people will always complain. I think they made it easier. Like a lot of courses are easier now, like philosophy, management, psychology. Like philosophy now, it's only multiple choice. Management is only multiple choice. Psychology is almost only multiple choice. So I think the theoretical courses are easier because in our time you had like 50% fail rate for fucking psychology. So now I think they made those easier, but like the math courses, I honestly have no idea.
I think the course is adapting and developing. I mean, they're also seeing students struggle, but I wouldn't say they're gonna change it to make it so easy. But one thing I really like that you said is that in Albania, for example, you said it's easy to pass university, but it's hard to get a good grade.
Yeah, yeah,
And I think this thing that you just said is in most countries,
sure.
in the US,
Mm.
Canada, in Australia, because all of my friends that do study in those country, they graduated, and I talked to them. They say, yeah, it's pretty doable, but the only thing is you pay quite a lot of money. So yeah, for people that come from middle class or even people who are well off, I don't think it's a good idea to go to the States to
Another thing though, which I would add, it is okay. You pay a lot, but also to get into the good universities in the UK and the US, you have to have a very good SAT, GPA stuff
yeah.
to get into a very good university in Belgium. I don't think it's difficult.
Hmm.
So that's the trade-off. It's really easy to enter, but it's really difficult to get out. Meanwhile, if you want to go to like I don't know Stanford or something, you have to have like a perfect SAT, perfect GPA,
Yeah.
15 or extracurriculum stuff on high school. But once you're in and you pay $200,000, then you are guaranteed to graduate. So that's
Yeah,
the
I
trade-off.
mean, that's the trade-off that you do. But I don't know. Maybe people who can afford it, it's not a bad idea, but not my
I
cup
don't
of
think it's.
tea.
I wouldn't recommend it. We had some American students actually, which came here because it was cheaper from our year. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah, there were some American students. Um, so how was the struggle? I mean, I know it was a struggle, but some students they get to a point, and then after they go to a point, either they keep going up and pass everything, and some people they just after the first year it's a downward slope, and
Mm,
then they find themselves in such a bad spot that they need to change. And from my personal experience, I think I had a mix of that. Me, after 2 years I saw that, yeah, or 2 3 years I saw that I didn't quite like the courses, and I thought that I should change, and I should see what really makes me,
mhm,
I wanted to like what I'm studying, and at KU Leuven I
mhm,
didn't get that. And then, I transferred my credits to Odyssey, and over there I really saw that I was studying what I like doing, creating
mhm,
content, knowing about marketing more, getting deep into that. But yeah, but in your opinion, what's the thing that causes students to go down and go into a really bad spot? I mean, is it the culture in the first year? Is it the party culture, or what is
mhm.
it in your opinion?
It's a good question. I I think first semester it's party culture to some extent, but also underestimating the courses and the system because, as you said, most people are not from places where you have this system where you can study well and fail, and it hits them like really hard. In my opinion, that's the thing with it. And also, there are some students which like for example, they're not that passionate about it, they're not that interested in it, and they don't have the motivation because you need to work hard and you need motivation to work hard. Um, so going to class also helps, I notice, especially because now, to be honest, this current generation is so spoiled. They have like recorded lectures for everything. I would kill for that.
Even
I
now at KUL, there's recorded
Still,
content.
every single course recorded lectures. I would kill for a stats one recorded. I was so desperate with the fucking Stefan slides. I had to go to class, record it on my phone.
Yeah,
Like we were like struggling, man, to survive. The people now have like recorded videos. I would kill for that back then. It's so simple. We did not have that. You had to go to class, especially for some courses with like stupid slides. You had to like study like very very consistently, and the grading is for some courses is stupid, like they're way too harsh. But
I would say this is because when we started, it was still
it was
young, the
new.
course.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was new, and now I think the stuff that they're doing, it's being adapted for students. Doesn't make it easy, but it's being adapted to be more fair. These having online recordings, I mean, this is a norm in every
yeah.
university in the world, not
it's not
in
just
Belgium.
it's not just that though, because I noticed that like I have LinkedIn, and the people 2 years younger than us when they were graduating, I had them all in LinkedIn, and they post like this post, I graduated. Our year we had like fucking 5 or 6 magnas. I don't know,
Yeah.
7 maybe. They had
Hmm.
like 20 something, and every graduate had a cum laude. We did not have that, so I could tell there was something going on. Now with the four tries, I think it's more balanced, but I think the courses now are a bit easier. And I know people will kill me for this, but genuinely think they're easier because I have also been told that the level of the students going in KWell now is way lower than in our year. Like our year, man, was super mature. The
Hmm.
average age was like 20, 21. And yeah, we had the party culture, we had some drama stuff, but in general, compared to the first years now, it's like night and day. They're like Gen Z weird people. Like our year was really mature and really like serious. So I think that in general, it's a bit easier now.
Hmm.
And I heard it was harder before us. So I feel like there's like this slope of making the program easier. I don't know with the four tries. I think that really changed things, but it just in terms of like course difficulty and passing and everything. I mean, we had six magnas, they had like 25. I think that shows you something, you know.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. You would say it's getting easier now.
I think it's getting easier to, for the most part. Maybe there's a few courses which will always be difficult, like math and stats, but you know, the program is not just nine, it's not just three courses, it's like 30 courses. So I think most of them are easier. But that's my opinion. People will disagree, maybe. I don't know.
For sure, it depends on the person, but I do think it's being adapted, and I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't change the fact that you have to study. It's not like you don't
Of
have to study
course.
anymore. Yeah, you
But
still have to study.
you don't have to go to class anymore though. That's the thing with the recorded
Yeah.
class. Like I have friends now which are in KOL, they don't even go to class ever again. Like almost not at all because they're doing other things and they have like the recorded classes. So you
Yeah.
can you can skip going to class, but you have to study.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. And after you did your bachelor, 4 years of really,
Hmm.
really harsh 4 years, you decided to do a master's
Hmm.
in information management, you said?
Yeah, so like the master, it's like the master of business administration, but you pick up a major track, which is the one which you do. And I did business information management. So basically, my whole program was based on that, and also my master thesis, I did something with like statistical modeling stuff. So I really tried to make the most of it. And it's like a business. There is this course in bachelor called ICT management. It's a third year course, so it's kind of like that but more expanded. The master is way easier than bachelor, especially to pass. I had the hardest major, and it's still easier than bachelor. And it's a lot more useful, I think, in terms of what you actually learn. So I think it's a good choice. It's a good track. I would recommend it to people a lot, to be honest. I enjoyed it.
I hope that when students listen to this episode, they will try to understand how good of a student you are. Would you consider yourself really smart, or how would you consider yourself so that others can have a baseline of you
Yeah,
know
yeah. Well, as a student, I'll be honest with you, my GPA was average as hell, so I wasn't a good student by KOL standards. So I was like an average student. I mean, I graduated, which is something nice, but in terms of like grades and stuff, I was super average. So I wouldn't consider myself a good student in that sense. So yeah.
hard work, all hard work?
I mean, I'm not saying like smart or hard work. I'm just saying the output, the result. I'm pretty sure I could
Hmm.
have studied more if I wanted, if I really wanted to. But
Hmm.
I noticed after like the first year and a half, my GPA was beyond redemption. So I was like, I'll just do other stuff.
Yeah. And I guess, yeah, GPA is quite important depending on your goals. But I think once you're able to pass and you're gaining knowledge, I think it's fine if you don't really maintain or not have a really bad GPA. But in that sense, me, I would say that I was quite a bad student. I mean, in high school, I was really average. And after getting into KUL, I really questioned myself, like, am I like, am I good enough to even study? But then I'm really glad I switched and now, yeah, graduated.
We
Uh,
graduated. Congrats.
yeah, yeah. I graduate in September, but
Hmm.
this semester I didn't have any courses, so basically I was done in January.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah. So your master's was pretty smooth, you would say, and you did that in a year or two.
Oh, it took me a year and a half. but I only had like two courses in the. But in masters, I was doing other things and was preoccupied with some other stuff, so I didn't give it 100% of my attention. If you do, you can easily graduate in a year. So it took me a semester more, but I only had two courses on the semester of second year of masters.
I think one thing that is interesting is definitely as an international student's income. As a student in those 4 years that you did study, how did you finance yourself?
Parents. I didn't work. I did an internship which was unpaid, and I was part of a student organization called ISEC for 1.5 years. But
Hmm.
in terms of actual getting money, I my parents financed everything. I
Yeah.
didn't spend a lot, so I was conscious about my budget. I was conscious about my spendings. So in that way, I didn't spend a lot, but I never worked with money,
Hmm.
basically.
All right. But I do think that a lot of students that come to
Yeah,
study, especially from South Asian countries like in Bangladesh, Pakistan, I had a lot of students reach out to me, and they were like, "How do I get a job? How do I earn?" And I think in the first year it's quite difficult to even be able to work.
yeah,
So after the first year, I think you'll be able to get jobs in bars or in stores for short
absolutely.
periods. I mean, Aziz. He
Of
was
course.
also first guest on the show,
Yeah, I've
and
seen.
he was a hustler. I mean, he from day one he was working places
Yeah,
somehow to get that money, and yeah, he gave some tips. I mean, to look on LinkedIn. I think
mhm.
LinkedIn was one of the few social media platforms that I did not use. I mean, I had everything. Then again, LinkedIn is very business oriented, but yeah, on
I would love
LinkedIn
to know. I
you're
have.
able to find a lot of jobs.
One tip though I would give, which is nice, but you don't do this in first year. You can do this maybe in second or especially third year. Is that you can actually look for a student job which is related to your profession. Like you work like part time and it's linked with your like what you're actually doing. Like I have a friend. He's doing like a student job as like a like with data stuff in the company, and he's also getting paid like 1,000 euros a month. So it's basically the same income as you would have with with like a like classical student job like Deliveroo or whatever. But that
Hmm.
is a bit more advanced, and that's almost like getting like a job. So it is more advanced. But I know a few people that did this. A few of them managed to stay there after their studies. But in terms of money, it's the same. But you also are getting stuff on your CV, so it's like a double win. But if that's not possible, or if you're a first year person and this is not doable in the first year, this is more like second or third year, so in your first year, I think as this already covered most of the tips. So I don't have personal experience, Deliveroo, waiter. I don't
I
know, like
think Deliveroo is kind of a good idea, but definitely not in after first semester. You can look into it.
yeah,
First semester, I think you should really focus on the
I
studies
think
and
so
then
too. I
yeah,
think so
finding a
too.
way to earn. I mean, in the first place, you come here because it's cheap. So for you
Yeah,
to then look for a job, I mean, yeah, it's very good, but not the first thing I would recommend to find a job.
if you
After
can.
first semester or first year, I think you'll be able to find something good.
But what I would
Uh,
to
yeah.
what's already been said is if you're like second or third year or masters and you want to get some money, try to do like a actual job in your profession. It
Hmm.
is definitely doable, and you don't have to do an internship if you do that. So you're kind of killing two birds in one stone, as they say.
Hmm. What did you do internships in your masters or any other internships?
I did this internship in bachelor in like my fourth year for 3 months in this like small consultancy company, but it was like a marketing one, so it wasn't really related to my studies. But I
Hmm.
had a few like I knew people and it was like a first professional experience. So it was good, like no regrets. It was quite chill, 20 hours a week, part time, and then the last week because of COVID, it became like teleworking. So that was like my first internship, and then I had like this project with this company, which was part of my master's studies. And there you also had to work with them, and you had to go to their offices and do some like presentations and shit. And that was also quite helpful.
One thing I forgot to mention, language. French. How
Yeah.
good, how good is your French after 6 years?
So I took classes. I've been taking French classes for like 2 years now, but like 6 hours a week. I'm not like the most dedicated person to learning French. It's like I go there and that's it. But steady, slowly you make progress. Now I just finished the beginning of B2 for speaking. So I think my level would be like a proper B1, and now I'm trying to do the B2.
Hmm. And what's your recommendations for people coming here? Is French needed to live or to?
Yeah, depends. If you live in Brussels, you need some basic French to get by. Places which can speak French, but it's really basic. Most people know English. It's like a good level of English here. So in terms of like everyday life, I think A1 French is going to be enough. Just like, hey, hello, I want this. Where is this? Like the most basic stuff. You don't need to speak like good French to get by here. With in that case, if you want to work though, it's a bit different. It's really like complicated. Depends on your industry or sector, the city. But overall, it is helpful. If you can, you should learn it.
A
But it's not
small base.
mandatory. It's
It's
not
not
mandatory
mandatory. Yeah.
like in some other countries, like the language. Like if you go to Japan, you need to learn Japanese or you're fucked. Here you can get by only with English. And to be honest, if I wouldn't go to French class, my French would not be good. I wouldn't speak almost any French because you don't have the incentive to learn it by yourself. You don't have like that survival, shit which you have some other places. So
Yeah. Why did you choose French? Why not Dutch?
because I had the idea, which back then was, which looking back, it's a wrong idea, but I thought like this: French people don't speak English, Dutch people speak English. If you speak English and French, you speak with everyone. That's how I thought of it.
Yeah. Yeah. But wouldn't you say that there are better jobs in the Flemish region more than the Wallonian
Yeah,
region?
with
And I guess in the Dutch region they speak English as well. But in the
mhm.
Wallonian region they don't speak English, so you just have to learn French.
The thing is that the Dutch, like when it comes to job opportunities, especially in my sector, which is more like the IT sector, it's
Hmm.
consultancy stuff. You cannot compare. It's like night and day difference. In Brussels, you can get like jobs which require one of those two, but overall, Dutch is a lot more useful. The thing is that Dutch people in general speak English, so it's like they kind of ask for you to know Dutch. It's almost like a formality. I heard stories. I did not have this, but I heard stories that like I spoke Dutch in the interview and and then after that everyone speaks English. I never had to use it again. I'm like, what?
Hmm.
Why? But yeah, it is what it is. Dutch is useful for working, and that's it. For life, French is way more useful because Dutch people speak English and they don't mind speaking English.
Yeah, yeah, that's one thing though, because a lot of French people they don't like to speak English. They want to stick to French. Dutch
Kinda,
people are more open in that sense.
kinda,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mentality wise, what do you think? French people or Flemish people are more, or
Mhm.
both? Which one would you get along with more?
Yeah, it's a good question. I never actually interacted with a lot of people from Wallonia, only with a few. I interacted with French people, like from France, and from people from Brussels, with people from Brussels, and with Flemish people. With actual like proper Wallonians, not that much. So I don't know exactly what to say about them. I Flemish people. The ones I met were quite nice. I have a few Flemish colleagues, and I also interacted with them in like social circles and different places. In our university, they were kind of cold, to be honest with you. So I wasn't like the biggest fan of them
The Flemish.
yeah, in our year, they were kind of cold. I almost did not talk with any of them. But
Hmm.
outside the uni, like in other places, they're quite nice. But I don't know if I met outliers or if they're like typical Flemish. So that's
Could
also not
be.
better.
Yeah, that's for sure. In KU Leuven, Although it's really multicultural and diverse, the Flemish students, for some reason,
Yeah,
I
the
don't know
city.
why, it's
Yeah.
couldn't get along for some reason, or even if we did, it's just on the surface. If you met them outside, it wasn't the same. Um, I saw on your LinkedIn that you did an internship in the Bank of Albania. How's that? Or what
Oh
did you
yeah.
do?
It was like a 1 month internship. I kind of
Hmm.
learned about the place, learn what they do. It was more like me getting to know how things worked. It wasn't like a proper internship.
Yeah, I think 1 month is really, even
Yeah.
if it feels intense, I don't think you can really learn a lot. But yeah, for your CV and for a bit of experience, I think it's good.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Why not? I'll
Yeah.
take it, you know.
Hmm.
It was okay. It was more about me seeing how places work. I didn't actually have to do anything.
And also the internship that you did in Belgium for 3 months, it was unpaid.
Yeah, that one, yeah, that was unpaid, but there actually I had to do stuff. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
unpaid.
as part of my program as well, in the BBM, you have to do an internship which is unpaid.
They're
But
unpaid.
where I did, the guys were pretty nice. They gave me their products,
Where did you do
and
your?
so I did my internship at Tipto. It's a startup who makes vegan milk
Oh,
based
nice.
of peas. I don't know if you ever had it. It's available in
I know.
Deleuze. Yeah, I think if you shop at Deleuze or Colruyt, not yet in Colruyt, they wanted to link up with Colruyt, but unfortunately there were some, like, issues, and they didn't make it happen. But it's available in Deleuze. Pretty good. I would recommend to people who have problems with milk or who are lactose intolerant. But
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
except that, yeah, they were nice enough to give me that, and they were like, yeah, if you have transport stuff, we can pay it. It's not an issue. Really
Yeah.
depends where you get it. My friend, he had an internship. It wasn't a good experience. Let's just say that he had to deliver stuff and wasn't paid, but it is what it is. Uh, you play the cards you're dealt in life, so. But definitely have to look for opportunities and stuff.
Mhm.
We talked about Belgium weather, which is really depressing. I mean, I remember in winter, me personally, I woke up at 6 to come to 8:30 class.
I'm
It was
surprised you
dark.
came. What class was it to make you wake up at 6?
I don't know. It's just I was like, I have to go to class. Man, we didn't have recordings. What do you
Yeah,
expect? Coming from Namur, 1 hour train.
that's insane.
Um, yeah, so went inside when it's dark, left class when it's dark. Very depressing. So
Very depressing.
my question to you is, how do you, you're already living alone.
Hmm.
You know people, but when you're at home, you're alone. What
Yeah.
are some tips for people or students to stay mentally healthy? Because mental health is extremely important. If you fall in a rabbit hole, it's really
Mm.
hard to get off. But what are some tips you would recommend to
As a
stay
student,
mentally healthy? Yeah,
or work,
studying
because
as
it's
a
different.
student. Yeah, as a student, I would say.
Okay. Well, for one tip I can give you is maybe live in a somewhat social student residence. So you have like stuff going and you have like people in the kitchen, blah blah blah. That helps a lot. Also, go to class. Really important to interact with people and meet people. Just doing that will help because you have a lot of classes, and if you actually go to class from let's say 10:30 until 3:30, you're home at 4. You're done interacting with people for the day. You want some alone time. So just doing that, going to class, will really help you not feel alone and help with your mental health because you're with people. You talk, you eat lunch together, blah blah blah.
See, that's why I used to wake up at 6. There's my reason.
Yeah, but you live with family, so that's a bit different. But I get
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, interacting with people, that's for sure, it helps.
class,
That
student residence, honestly, these two are more than enough. And in campus, you have to be very active in general. Like go to events, go to gatherings. If people tax in the BBA group, there is this thing happening. Go there. Go join a student organization if you can. And or on even if you don't join one, they do events. Go to those. Just be proactive and
mm.
try to make the most out of the campus experience, and you'll meet a lot of people and it's going to be quite nice. I started doing that like in my third and fourth year, and it was actually, and also within masters, and it's really really nice in general, like to
What
just
if
be active.
what if the person is shy and introverted?
Yeah, well, you have to push yourself. You came here to live alone. You're studying in KUL with depressive weather. You're stronger than you think. You can say hi to someone if you can do all of these things.
For sure.
And people are really friendly in these kind of places, though. It's really it's like easy mode for introverted shy people. It's not like you're going to a bar and people tell you to fuck off. So so it's fine. Usually, people are really friendly in these kind of events.
You had a good experience, with friends and everything, knowing people, or
Yeah.
mentally, how did you feel those 4 years? And I'm saying the 4 years because I think these are the toughest times, and if you don't put yourself in a good situation early on, you might fall into a rabbit hole you don't
You
recover
can
from.
say five because also master counts, kind of. But the COVID
Yeah,
messed it up for us though. Like third and like almost 2 years were lost with COVID. So it's kind of a weird situation to say. Like second semester of third year and almost all of like a big part of fourth year for me, it was like COVID going back and forward, recorded classes only. It was different, but in masters it's when I started going to events and I met a lot of people. I also was in ISEC for 1.5 years. You meet a lot of people from ISEC, so those two things helped a lot. And then before that, just going to class, talking to people, trying to be social for the most part. Most people are nice, some people are cold, some people can be a bit rude, but I would say like 90% of the people are quite nice and open. So
me personally, I didn't really get into the ISEC and events. I wish I did go into more events like job fairs, stuff like that. It
yeah,
would
but
have been
also
good to get experience and to know it. Uh, but yeah, I think having or looking for a good group of friends that
yeah.
you really resonate with and they have their similar principles. I think
Mhm.
that's really important as well, to develop a group of friends. A few would do the trick, not
Yeah, for sure.
because me in the first year, I think I was trying to be friends with everybody, talk to everybody. In the long term, doesn't really help. My
No.
recommendation is to really look for the people you can really see yourself in the long term. And yes, of course, you should meet people, grow your network. But yeah, that's definitely from my personal opinion. So
The thing is that you meet the people which you vibe with by meeting a lot of people in general, and
yeah,
you interact with a lot, and then you pick the ones which you like. Like,
yeah, for sure. So now you're done, and I think your master's journey, you were pretty happy. It's like you feel like, yeah, it's almost the end. So I think master's is a bit more happier than
It's
bachelor.
way more chill. You cannot compare. It's different world. It's like you have the degree in your pocket. It's just like you have to do the work. You never fear that you will not do it, make it. It's like an Albanian degree. Uh,
You're disconnected for a bit.
Sorry, I don't know what happened.
No, it's
Can
okay.
you?
I think, yeah, there's a Wi-Fi, but yeah, you left off that Masters was pretty chill, not
It's quite chill.
comparable.
It's quite
Yeah.
chill, so it's fine.
When it came to choosing your masters, how did you choose? I mean, you said you took the toughest. Why
Mhm.
the toughest though?
Toughest. It's
Toughest
still
major.
easier than BBA, but I took it because first of all, I'm international and it's harder for me to get a job here. So I don't have the luxury of doing my passion and what my heart calls me, blah, blah, blah stuff. That's one thing. Also, it was something which genuinely interested me to some extent because I looked at the other programs and I wasn't like I don't like finance at all. I don't like accounting. Marketing, I liked marketing, but I wasn't very passionate about it. And then the rest was like human resources and stuff. And human resource, I mean, I don't speak French or Dutch, so I cannot do that. And
Yeah.
so this one was the most English friendly. It had the most job opportunities, which I really need as an international student. If you have a EU passport, this does not apply to you. You can get a job easily. But if you don't, then you need to be smart about what you actually do in terms of looking for a job, because you might do something which you like and that's great, but then when you actually have to find a job, then you're fucked. So you need to be a bit smart about it. But I also liked it, so it's not like I did it without liking it. I could have
Mm-hmm.
done finance. You can get a
Yeah.
job with finance. I don't like finance. So this was something which I liked for the most part. I'm not saying I was in love with it, but I liked it quite a lot, especially to the other options we had. It was English friendly and had a lot of job opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it was a no-brainer, to be honest. I
And
don't know
now
what
I
I could have done otherwise, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah, I think you liked it, not love, as you said. You liked it, and you saw the most opportunities. I think you were very, objective in your thinking. Yeah, that's really good. So you finished your masters, and how long did it take you before you got a job?
So I finished mass. No, actually, with my story was a bit complicated. It wasn't like it's not like I finished masters. So what happened is that I got when I was doing the project with the company, I put it on my LinkedIn and it exploded the algorithm, and I got it started getting like a lot of people like DMing me for like jobs and stuff. That really helped, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And the company which I work now contacted me on LinkedIn, the HR lady, and she showed me the opportunity, and I was like, sure, let's take a look. And I had the interviews; they went well. They offered me, they gave me an offer. I accepted it, and then I signed and did all of the things. There were some weird stuff with the permits and all of that, which I'm not going to get into detail now. But the process was quite straightforward, and the company was really nice, really willing to help, because a lot of companies don't do work permits,
Mm-hmm.
which is unfortunate. But this company was really willing to do it. So, and overall, really nice people. I got lucky, to be honest with you, for the most part. Um, and luck in terms of like this great company contacted me. Like that's what I mean by luck,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not like I found them. And then I started working from the 1st of August, and I graduated it in January of this year. So I was doing both for some time, and one of the worst periods was like in terms of like difficulty was when I was moving out of my residence where I had stayed for 5 years. I had my master thesis where I hadn't done shit. I had three exams and working full time. And during it was like a 3 week period. I'm not joking. I was sleeping on average 5 hours a night for like 2 weeks. One night I slept 6 hours. It felt like a treat. And the commute was 1 hour each time. So 10 hours at work with the commute, and then looking for an apartment, and then studying. It was like my mind was literally, I had like three personalities. I'm at work, work personality. After work, I need to find a house, house searching personality. I get home after a house visit. Okay, now I'm studying university personality. It was like messed up for like 3 weeks.
Quite a struggle in the uni
Struggle,
life. I mean, yeah.
quite a struggle.
I think LinkedIn is extremely powerful, and I did not know how powerful it is because even now that I graduated and now that I updated my LinkedIn, I'm starting to get a lot of messages, a lot of offers,
It's really helpful.
um, and it's extremely helpful for students who want a job
Yeah, it makes me.
after they graduate. LinkedIn is really
Mhm.
your bread and butter. You have to update your LinkedIn regularly, use the app, and as you mentioned, the algorithm is extremely uh, helpful to you. You know, I think I didn't even know how it worked. There are accounts for recruiters.
Yeah.
And yeah, now it all makes sense that recruiters use it to get better employees. But I think also when it comes to jobs, I think you can register with some agencies. In
Yeah.
Belgium there's Unique,
Yes.
some others that I don't know, and they will also help you get a
Hmm.
job because they are recruited by companies to um, filter out the candidates. I think the only thing that LinkedIn doesn't have is, yeah, on paper you can write you've done this, you've done that. And then once you go in the interview and you talk, it's like you can't really say anything.
Yeah. Oh, the
uh
thing with LinkedIn is that it's, Instagram with showing
yeah,
off and you don't have shit. It's all
yeah,
fake.
yeah,
That LinkedIn can be like that.
yeah, for sure.
And I remember the first time I opened a LinkedIn account, I got so depressed because I saw everyone has done all these great accomplishments. But then when
Yeah.
I looked a bit deeper into it, student consultant with this company and it's fucking management project too. I'm like, man, like I can like what the hell? Fundraiser, management project fund. Do like all this clever wording and they put this
Yeah, yeah.
but it's like fucking bullshit unique courses. So
Yeah,
if you know what's
I,
going on, it's
I'm
actually
I'm guilty of doing that. I think in high school I did. I was just editing videos for an event, and I wrote director of videography. So I have to spice it up a bit.
it's like those people which they don't have any money. They go to Dubai with Ryanair. They post a
Yeah,
picture behind with Burj Khalifa in the background, with a Lamborghini, with some nice clothes which they have, entrepreneur in their caption, and now they're
yeah.
rich. No, you're not. It's literally the equivalent of that.
Yeah, but listen, I'm not gonna lie. I did not. At least I'm not one of those people writing those,
No,
dear
you see,
network.
I'm
I would
just
like to let you know that I've done this, done that. LinkedIn is powerful, but use it, responsibly, and have some respect for yourself. Don't write you've done this and that while you've done jack shit.
No, I
Uh,
don't mind you lying about. I don't mind like when people overblow a bit their experiences. But what gets me so much, which I find so stupid, is when people lie about their languages. I see people French professional proficiency, and back then, so this is like a year ago.
mhm.
I know the person. I speak better French than them. I'm like, dude, you're gonna embarrass yourself in a job interview. You
Yeah.
can bullshit about your experiences. You cannot bullshit about speaking good French. They'll start
Mhm.
talk to French to you like
You'll be
that. I
tested.
never understood. Please be honest about your language for your own good, because otherwise it can be really awkward.
Yeah, be honest. I mean, I think it's better to write less, and then during an interview you express yourself more than to do the other
Yeah,
way around.
you have to be a bit fancy with what you write. Sometimes it's mandatory, but
Yeah.
as long as you're being honest.
Yeah, you play the game, It's like link this is a game. You have to.
Marketing. You study marketing. LinkedIn is
Yeah.
marketing. It's a
Yeah,
marketing
yeah,
project 101.
for sure. And now, what are some of the roles that you perform in at your job? And we'll
Uh,
talk about work life a bit later after this.
sure, sure. So in my job, what I do in the beginning, I did quality management. So so what you need to understand is that I am working for a consultancy company, but I actually work at the client of the consultancy company. I'm a contractor. So the client basically pays for me, the consultancy company. So when I actually go to work, it's at the client's office, and my team and my like the person that manages me, they're all at the client's office. But the company that actually pays me and employs me is the consultancy company. So that's one distinction I should make clear from the start. At the client's office, uh, I'm in a small team. We're 5 people at the moment. For the first like 10 months, I did mostly quality assurance. If I can say it very simply, I made sure that things were according to specific regulations and guidelines, which have already been created. I did some project management work also, and now I have some new tasks which involve also some project management stuff, but in another way. And also in the future, I'll have to do, I think, some data analysis and also some like measurement stuff. But it's still like I'm still not sure 100%. It's like every day, every week, I am swimming in a sea and seeing, okay, there is a shark here, okay, there is some grass here, okay, there's an island here.
Hmm.
So yeah. But I can tell you this, 95%, and I spoke with a lot of people about this. I would say 95% of what you learn in uni is irrelevant. What you learn in uni, it's how to show up on time, how to be responsible, how to work in a team, how to be like diplomatic. Those are good skills. Social skills, those are good skills you develop. But when it comes to actual knowledge, for the most part, I would say most of the things you're going to learn on the job. In some cases, it can be maybe 70%, 30% of what you learned in uni you'll use in your job. But I know people which work, they literally use nothing in terms of actual knowledge. I use just some concepts from university, not much at all. It's more about like adapting and having like the proper like mindset, thinking in a specific way. It's about more of those stuff than actual knowledge.
Yeah, I think, and you just answered the question I was going to ask, is how much of the knowledge you've
Mm,
gained in these 5 and 6 years
10%,
do you use? So
10%,
yeah,
something.
I think it's true, but then again, it really depends on the job. I
Yeah,
think more
yeah,
technical
that's.
jobs like engineering, for example, or like a
Mhm.
doctor, or some technical where you have to be specific. You can't really uh, apply the theory. You have to know the actual things. But yeah, then again, most of the jobs aren't like that, and I think uni prepares you to take the pressure, and then on the job you have to, like, learn and adapt and be able to take the pressure, and that's how most of the jobs go, honestly. But
Samuel, I would like to add this, especially in business or when you do consultancy like me. First of all, university doesn't teach you how to use most of the softwares which you'll use. There's so many software, some companies have their own. So that's
mhm,
one thing you have to learn. Okay, you know Excel and PowerPoint, but even Power BI you don't learn anymore, which I have to use to
mhm,
some extent. And all the different softwares which they use, I had to learn those all from scratch. And
yeah,
that's everywhere. So that's one thing which uni doesn't teach you. And also the industry. Like for example, some people work in finance industry, some people work in retail industry, some people work in I don't know, railway industry. So different industries, they have their own slogan, their own slang, their own like knowledge,
vocabulary, and yeah,
which you
yeah.
have to learn. And that's one thing which uni doesn't teach you. So uni teaches you a bit more about the structure and the actual content you learn at the job.
I think if you learn these softwares and on your own, you'll be more qualified for the job. But I think uni is the easy road and the convenient and the conventional road people take.
And it
Because
gives you
uni
better.
at the end, yeah, of course, and it gives you a piece of paper that you hang on your wall if you want. But
Yeah, exactly.
except that, I don't really see a lot of benefits. But it's the norm. A lot of people do it, a lot of people don't. And those who don't, it's not that they're not successful. In some
No,
cases,
no,
they're
no.
more
Of course not.
successful. Yeah,
Depends also what you want to do. If you want to open your own business, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you honestly don't need uni at all.
at
If you want
all.
to be employed somewhere, it usually helps a lot because people won't take you seriously if you don't have the diploma to be an employee. But always it depends. Like if you're a programmer, you don't need to have a diploma. You can show easily that you're good at coding, and they'll hire you. But if you want to be a doctor or a lawyer, no one will hire you without a degree. Let's be
For
honest.
sure. Yeah, yeah.
So
And
it really
also, yeah, also coding, as you said, you need to learn the thing, and
you
that's
can coding. You don't need a degree. You can learn it
yeah,
yourself. You show it in tests, and you're good. A doctor, what will they test? A patient?
yeah,
Okay, open him.
yeah. I'm glad they have those things in place because I don't want my doctor to be,
Yeah,
one of
exactly.
those no degree voodoo
So,
doctors.
so in some places you still need a uni. As an entrepreneur, you don't need it at all.
Yeah,
Another
yeah.
thing.
Well, we've talked about your journey from Albania high school to now where you're currently at, and you look forward to being here a couple of years more before you move on, or what's your plans?
So I'm trying to get like the citizenship here. I should get it in 2 years from now, kind of, 2 3 years maybe. So
Mm,
that's my plan. I'm trying to stay here. Also, getting work experience helps a lot, learning and stuff. So I see myself here in the next 5 years. After that, I don't know. When I have if a bit more flexibility in terms of moving and traveling and all of that stuff, I might go somewhere else, but I haven't found a place yet which I like as much as Brussels. Spain would be a good option, but there you have to learn Spanish, and I don't want to learn Spanish. So that's the thing. And then other cities in the area like Paris, Germany, Amsterdam. Like they're nice, but I prefer Brussels more.
Will your job allow you to transfer, or you're completely going to, move on from this job if you do move somewhere else?
If I move, it will not be in 5 years. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
think so. But at the moment, I am. I honestly, it's a big question mark. But we're
Yeah.
talking mid, like at least 5 years after today.
Mm-hmm. Getting the citizenship is really an area of focus you have now, and I think it's a smart and safe thing to do. You
Yeah.
know, mm, like, let's talk about your like work life balance. How do you try to maintain, or what do you do outside of work? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
definitely work out, and we'll get into that stuff. But what else do you do going out? How much time do you have,
Mm-hmm. Good.
after
Good.
work?
Yeah. So it depends a lot on your job, on your blah blah blah, as people say. My job is quite chill in the sense that I usually do my 8 hours, and after that I go. So there are some exceptions here and there, but in general, it's quite chill, the work life balance. I don't have like crazy stories of staying out until 11 p.m. or something like that. So in general, it's a good work life balance. What I do after work, well, once a week I take French classes. The other days I go out quite a lot, maybe like 3 4 times a week. Um, Usually with friends. Usually, it depends. Like I know a lot of people, like different people, different groups. So I see in the weekend I try to do something a bit more fun. Like for example, last weekend on Saturday I went to with some friends to Ostend. So we swam on the sea,
Yeah.
very cold. And not like 2 weeks before that on Sunday we went to this park called Walibi, which is like an amusement park. So I try to do like nice things. I also like traveling a lot. So like this year I went to like Luxembourg for a weekend, 1 weekend to Munich, a week to Lisbon and Madrid, especially now that I have a bit more money to spend on this stuff.
Yeah.
I am doing like things which before maybe I wouldn't do, like spend like 30 euros for an amusement park for a day. Before I wouldn't do that, now I can. So I try to like do more like interesting things. And otherwise I meet a friend for a drink or walk around with the good weather.
Hmm. Yeah, traveling is really nice. It opens you up, and yeah, as you said, a lot of stuff you couldn't do, and I think it's a really nice feeling that you are
Yeah.
able to do a lot of stuff that you can't.
It's,
I mean,
it's
me as well. Uh, once you start earning a bit, you do see the freedom that you can get, and it's a really nice feeling for sure. At the same time, you do have to save and not
yeah,
blow everything up.
of course, of course.
But yeah, traveling. How much can you travel? How frequently do you
Well,
travel internationally or in Europe?
depends where I go. If it's like on a weekend, on the weekend, I don't have a lot of holidays left this year because I'll spend the rest of them to go to Albania in
Hmm.
summer and December. Next year I'll have more days, so I'll try to travel more and do more like international trips, like going with a plane, as you call it. So yeah, I really like it. So I'll see. Next year I probably will go to London for a week, like London and like in the UK, and then maybe I would go to Prague for like 3 or 4 days. I don't know yet.
It's a plan, yeah. Uh, how much can you work out? Because from uni, I think you were one of the few guys that were a bit beefy. So how's your working out schedule going on right now?
Yeah. So the thing with working out is that until I was like 16, 17, I was quite skinny. And then a friend of mine will kind of drag me to like start to do like some calisthenics. So I started doing like body weight exercises, like pull-ups and push-ups, the basics. And that gave me a bit of a foundation. And then after that, when we were like second year of high school, me and two friends of mine from class, we started going like to the gym a bit more. Like we started going to the gym, and we would go like 4 times a week back then. But this is like 2016, and that's where I got my foundation of the gym. because I was so weak. I remember I weighted like 52 kilograms and I struggled to bench 25 kilograms,
Yeah,
something
that's
like that.
a bad
Like
feeling. Yeah.
beginner, 5 kilo dumbbell curls, like
Hmm.
proper textbook beginner. So I went very regularly for 8 months, and that really helped me develop like my foundation. And then after that, it was really on and off, to be honest. Like I wasn't this super consistent guy that went to the gym regularly for years. I would go 3 months and then stop for 7 months and then go 4 months and then stop for a year. But in time, it accumulates.
Yeah.
And
The amount
now,
of progress you can actually see in yourself, even if you're on and off, is crazy compared
it
to someone who
must
doesn't do it at all. Yeah.
throughout the years, yes. Especially for me, I'm kind of short, and when you're short, the one good thing which you have is that you don't need to bulk up a lot to look like muscular. Like you
Yeah, yeah.
gain 3 kilos of muscle, you can really tell the difference.
There's those memes going around like tall
And
people
what-
in the gym after 3 years of lifting, just
yeah,
small muscles, and short guy sniffs the gym and gets like 3 kilos of muscles.
yeah.
Short people do get muscle much quickly, but there is definitely hard
I
work
don't
behind it.
actually. I don't think they gain muscle faster. It's just that they need less muscle to look bigger because they're
Yeah.
smaller. So if I gain 2 kilos, I will look way bigger than someone tall that gains 2 kilos.
Hmm.
So yeah,
So
but
right now you don't really find the time to do anything.
no, now I go to the gym. Actually, I've been going consistently since January or even before, like since like November or something. So this is
Hmm.
the longest I've been consistently in like years, and it I gained like 4 kilos. I assume half of it is muscle mass. I don't know, but now
Hmm.
I'm 67, which is the heaviest I've ever been. I was 62 in November, so I gained 5 kilos. I assume maybe two out of five is muscle mass, something like that. I go now like 3 times a week. I do like push pull legs routine. That's like what I
Hmm.
do. Push pull
The
legs.
bro split.
More push pull and some legs.
Hmm.
But you've
Well,
also
me, I
been
don't.
growing. I see your stories and
Yes,
stuff.
yes, my progress, my 2 year progress, because before I did not hit anything.
Yeah, it's quite impressive.
But in 2 years, I've been able to gain some weight, gain some muscle,
Mm-hmm.
look better in clothes that I didn't really look good. And I think anybody who goes to the gym regularly, tries to work on themselves, eats good, they'll definitely
Mm-hmm.
see a change. I don't think it's something like there is a lot of genetical impact, but I think if you do it consistently, eat good, you'll see change
Yeah,
and
sure.
that'll make you feel good. And I'm pretty sure that the fact that you go, you have more energy, right? You're more better in the mood.
Yeah, it helps. It helps, especially after doing it. You get like this dopamine in your system, which feels really good. It's almost like a small high. You feel really
Hmm.
nice after doing it. And also, like, if you go consistently, you really feel good about yourself because you're able to do something which most people cannot do and don't do, but they wish they did. And that really
Hmm.
makes you feel good. uh, and when you see progress, when you see your body change, when you see yourself getting stronger, it also is a nice feeling. And with the weights, I don't know if you have this, but sometimes to me it feels almost like an RPG, like leveling up with the weights.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I saw
Progressive
you did,
overload is
yeah,
yeah. I mean,
I saw you did 75 on the bench recently in one of your
yeah,
stories.
yeah.
How many
75 on
reps?
the. It was 3 sets of 6 7 reps, and that was
Hmm.
quite a milestone for me because I
Hmm.
weighed like 73 or something. But
Hmm.
to flat
Nice.
bench that, I think it's really nice. But on the incline, I'm still like at 60
Fucking
65.
climb,
So
fucking climb.
yeah, but I
Um,
think the incline is much better for your chest because it develops
yes.
your upper chest more. But I definitely saw when I started. I think 2 years ago, or
Mhm,
actually, weights. Like for me, it's 2 year progress. But the first year, I only went to the gym
mhm,
and did the exercises which weren't compound movements. Like I
mhm,
did a lot
mhm,
of treadmill,
Mm-hmm.
bench press, but like the not the Smith, but the aided, so no stability and stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
then the next year was like focused on the home gym. I have a really good friend, Anas. He has a home gym, so after I met him, he introduced me to everything, and I saw the benefits. No
Yeah.
excuses. You have a home gym,
Sure.
you have no excuses.
I was gonna
Um,
ask you about the your because I've seen like you work out in like a home gym. It's not yours, it's your
No,
friends.
no, that one is my friends, and where
Mm-hmm.
you see me bench on my stories,
Mm-hmm.
that's my small, humble home gym. Yeah, and then the second year after I started at home, I saw much more progress because I had no excuses. It's just downstairs my gym.
It's
Before I was, yeah, before I used to say, yeah, 10-minute drive, have to go to the garage, pick up the car. Yeah,
it's still an excuse, man. 10
yeah,
minutes. Come on,
yeah.
I could take a 10-minute bus. Like
Yeah, yeah. It really depends, people who don't have a home gym or something, yeah, they have to go, and that's what motivates you. But me, I was, yeah, had a big belly and everything. Yeah, it's a bad spot to be. Now,
you also
now I'm really glad to see some change, but it's a journey. I think there's so much more room for improvement. I'm still a bit fat, but yeah, I right now I just focus on my diet and lift. That's all that I focus.
you're
But you definitely have a good physique. You're built really, really
thanks.
well with big shoulders.
Thanks.
But yeah, man, working out definitely for a lot of people it changes them. They see a huge amount of benefit. But now I think I'm focusing more towards doing combat sport type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Learning how to box or doing MMA,
Nice,
jiu-jitsu,
nice.
because I think, look, working out is better than nothing, but knowing how to fight, I think it's
Mm-hmm.
better than
Mm-hmm.
just working out.
I
But it's
agree.
definitely not for everybody, but I think everybody should learn a bit of
Mm-hmm.
jiu-jitsu or Brazilian jiu-jitsu rather than impact sport, because I did do wrestling and over there it's pretty harsh and I had to take a pause, but now I try to do jiu-jitsu and I want to do jiu-jitsu a bit more because it's less impact, but the skills you learn you can apply it in real life.
Especially at Nord at 2 a.m.
Yeah, over there, if you know some jiu-jitsu,
Yeah.
me and a friend, we were waiting at the bus stop, and this guy comes in, drunk guy, comes
Mm-hmm.
and talks, and my friend, he knows kickboxing, and
Mm-hmm.
he's like, yeah, if you do something, I'll just give this guy a leg kick, easy, no problem. Oh yeah. So we talked about a lot of things, man. I mean, it was really insightful to know about your entire journey. I think other students will, or other people wanting to come as an international students will really benefit from what you said. I mean, it was really insightful, man. If you have any last words or any anything you want to say uh, about you or to motivate others, you can go for it.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, by the way, for the kind words. Appreciate it. One
And
thing.
also, sorry, you're I would say extremely driven person, because when I saw you at uni, you were always, we had our talks. You're like sad, and we were saying that this shit is so hard.
Uh,
I might quit, but you kept on doing it, and that's your fruits of your labor. Now you have a job, trying to settle down here. And I think it's really inspiring and motivating. I take in motivation from you, man.
Thank
It's
you
really
very much.
inspiring.
Appreciate it. One thing I would like to add is like about life in Brussels, because I noticed Brussels. It's a very controversial city, and a lot of people hate it. Some people love it. So it's quite like, how do I say, controversial, mixed bag. But I think that if you know what you're doing here and if you know where to look, you can really have like a good life here. Because I keep meeting people which shit on Brussels, and I think that it is a bit misunderstood in a way.
Yeah, it's the woke agenda, the European Union, European Parliament, and everything. They're really behind this woke agenda, and me personally, I don't like it at all. But as you said, you have to find your peace and you have to find your group. and you
Mm.
have to, filter a lot of stuff. I think if you live a bit, if I think in the long term, if I do stay in Belgium, I wouldn't live in Brussels, just because of these woke agenda. You see all
The
these weird
sidewalks.
stuff.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know. Yeah,
so if you do live a bit away from the city and you have a job that
yeah,
can, sustain you, I think it's a good idea. Belgium is a good idea.
yeah. I get you, man. Yeah. It also depends. Some neighborhoods in Brussels they don't have that if you know where to look. So,
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
all right.
What are your goals for the future?
Um, to like get to settle down here to some extent, continue like working, learning the work stuff, traveling. I want to do 100 kilo bench. It's like my gym life goal. I hope
That's
I'll
for
be able to do
everybody.
that.
That's a goal for everybody. How
When
much
I
do you
do
bench
that,
right now?
now we're literally the same strength. I think I can do 75 for like 5 or 6.
Awesome. Yeah, you weight almost the same as me.
Yeah.
I feel good at 70, 73, but I was down to 65. I look pretty good, but
Mm.
power wise, it's not, yeah,
To do 100 though, yeah, we need to reach it. I mean, I'm 67 now. To
yeah,
realistically reach 100, I need to be at least 75. So wow,
yeah.
it's gonna take a while.
Then
So
there's power lifters at 69 benching 130. So
yeah, but I'm not that like that man, So
yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
gym wise. That's the goal. Also traveling more. I really enjoy it. And then the rest we'll see. We'll see.
What
But
about
at the
getting
moment,
married? You have
oh
a
no,
girlfriend
fuck,
or?
fuck, fuck. Marriage? No, no, not for the next 10 years. So. I mean, you never know life, but it's not in my priority.
Hmm. I mean,
Dating,
yeah.
yes. Dating, yes,
Mm-hmm.
but marrying, no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, getting married is a big step, and me personally, I feel like the younger you do it, the better. But then again, we have our own thoughts and
I'm
mentalities.
a bit more. I feel like as a man, I think you can also wait
Yeah. Yeah.
a bit. And you? What are your goals actually?
Long-term goals. I really want to get a good job. Now I am working, but it's I started as a student, and now that I graduated, I can't really do this really long term. It pays good. It helps me do my
Hmm.
things. A lot of the things that I'm doing, it was thanks to the job. But now I need to look for something better, gain some skills,
Hmm.
hopefully open up a business in the long future. And yeah, for me, getting married is a big priority as well. So
Oh, okay. So you might
S
see something interesting. I know Aziz got married, so you never know.
yeah, yeah, he's a pretty smart guy, and he got settled down now in
Hmm.
LA, living the life, happy.
Yeah.
You talk to him regularly, like you talk to
Uh,
him
I
once in a
haven't
while.
talked to him in a while, but I follow him, so I see what he's up to. I have him on
Hmm.
Instagram and everything.
Yeah.
Also, I wanted to. So you see yourself more as working in like your own business or as working with for a company? Because, for
Oh,
example, I know
right now, yeah,
like
right now I
in the
am
long,
looking for
no, no, in the
in
long run, in the long run, not
ah
like in after like 5, 10 years,
yeah, for sure. I think that is the way to go to
your own
reach
business.
yeah, or to reach
Okay.
a more financial independence, or even
Yeah, you've seen,
uh
yeah, you also see the videos, I know, I also see them.
yeah. Well, no, look, I mean, it's not about the videos. The videos are good, but at the end of the day, you also have to think for yourself. I think a lot of people that watches videos of Andrew Tates, of entrepreneurs with Lamborghinis, that's not the way to go. I think you have to think for yourself, and you have to realize what's good. A lot of people, they're good when they work.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
also see myself having a really relaxed life if I do work. But
Mhm.
5, 10 years, you never know what happens. If you have a
Sure.
business on the side, it's not a bad idea. So yeah, I mean, Ray, honestly, it was an amazing conversation.
Thank
Learned a lot, and I hope we can do this again. Really
Sure,
insightful
sure.
stuff, and I wish you all the best. I mean, when
Yeah.
I started this podcast, I really it really felt good that you reached out and you said
Mhm.
yourself that I want to be part of this podcast, the
It's
stuff
really
you're
cool.
doing.
It's really
Yeah,
cool.
thanks a lot. I hope I can, go on and keep doing this.
Mm.
Personally, I love learning from others. I uh, like to learn, like to talk. So why not share this at the same time? So yeah,
Mhm.
it was awesome,
Thank
and
you. Appreciate
hope
it.
we
Thanks
can
for
do this
having me.
again. Awesome. All the best.
All right. Take care, man. All the best.